Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to question and answer stream number 8. We've been basically on time. I'm gonna call 1 minute of on time. I think that's good enough for us. Welcome, everyone. Lovely to see you all here. As always, everyone on stream tonight. I'm Yosha, and I guess the rest that can say hello themselves.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hey.
We're all wearing our SimCasino gear. Hopefully everybody can see. Hopefully a couple of you guys out there are wearing it today too.
It's too hot to wear the hoodies.
Yeah, well, it's too hot there. Here in Vegas, it's like 110, I think, right now.
I have it with me though, right here.
Yeah, because I looked at where you're at it in California. It's only 70 degrees. You probably could wear it.
Yeah, but inside the house is still pretty warm.
Cool. So what all we got to? I know we've got the survey results that Michael worked hard on. How's our casino doing? Got the same casino going. We got new stuff to play with.
Yeah, I don't even know. Michael, do you have a short
So I
version
can
of...
get Yeah, do you want the change log then?
Yeah, if you can give me a short version, and everyone a short version, of stuff that was added since I think last month?
Yeah, I'm just finding out when the last one was and then I'll work backwards from there.
Yeah. So the last one was...
Here we go, it was April 23rd. I mean, if I'm going to scroll through, I may as well just go through all the changes, and then afterwards we'll do the survey, go through all that.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
touch on the big stuff. Most people watching probably saw the little stuff, but yeah, the biggest stuff.
So looking at May 7th, we've got a whole bunch of audio improvements, crowd effects. I also added, well, after did the crowd effects, I added some like city traffic sound effects. Also managed to fix some bugs because I think a lot of sound effects like the revolving door, things like that just weren't working before, so they've all been like triggered properly. And there's also separate daytime and nighttime ambience effects when zoomed out of the casino. Arthur and Joshua basically work together on like gambling stuff, so things like each slot game has an installation fee. And then we've also replaced commission with a daily license, so we've also added was it Linked Thunder? Not sure if there's any other new games added, but yeah, we've got new slot games, new features to them. We also change how the gambling confidence works. I actually can't remember if this is from like a month ago, but apparently we changed the like balancing on that. Oh yeah, we got rid of the pickup zone, so we replaced it with a bus stop and a car stop, which just looks a bit better. We also added some new fence types, which I've seen a couple of YouTubers having a lot of fun with. Just scrolling through, loads of bug fixes and that. Casino racing improvements, so things like need scores are more consistent now. One thing that I liked ago is that when you look at the rating, it had the same rating for each demographic, so it should show a different one now correctly. Also, big one, so you can now build window, cashier cages, hotel desks, and theatre box offices.
Ooh, yeah, let's see those. I want to see those.
And we do have other models available as well, which we're gonna try and get in.
Is the newest model that I saw in there with the wall mounted? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got round.
What's that?
So the all mounted total, and I did 3 because that's all I had time to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'd want to see like lots of plays for desk or maybe others as well. But so far it's hotel, theatre, and another one, box office.
I thought it was cashier hotel.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, cashier, hotel, and theater.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's so much better. It's so much more legit.
And you can customize the color.
Yeah, I saw that too. We've got a ton more color customization going in. Like a lot of the models that didn't allow customization now allow it.
Yeah. Looking through, we also added a bunch of new plant types and flowers. I made some adjustments to the tutorials. Looking some tweaks to the build menu. You can now type in a hex code for the colors. Our bug fixes. We had a lot of bug fixes lately because I was near house, so I just had Joshua to focus on bugs for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's nice of you. And that's also why Michael moved into a downgraded internet experience. That's why we're getting it. I think he's getting a little bit of a codec or some kind of artifacting. But hey, that's what happens. You move into a nice new place and you never know what kind of internet you're
Well,
gonna get.
it's a trend. Nicer internet. No, sorry, nicer neighborhood, worse internet.
Yeah, it's like an inverse correlation. It's worse in the US, so
Yeah.
what you can do.
And
Here
then
you
finally
get
through-
one option and you're stuck.
Actually, we had that in Hull because there was only one internet service provider, whereas the rest of the country has several.
No kidding. I would
Hull
think
was quite unusual.
now 5G, I would think that you'd start seeing people really popping up on that. And I know here in Vegas there's a wireless internet service provider. If you live like down in any of the valleys, that you can get like pretty freaking good service. Probably better than what you've got.
By the
And
way,
then finally, it's not. Sorry, go on.
just a short one. The Techno Gadget on YouTube just wrote, the hotel window doesn't really need the bars.
Did we do a version without bars?
We can add it in.
Yeah, what I might do then is use the barless one for the hotel once that's made, and then I'll use the barred one for something else, like betting window or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
generally the cashier cage has that kind of look,
Yeah,
or
that's
it'll have
preferred.
like glass. Sometimes box office does too, but not hotel, not usually.
Maybe also, while on the topic, maybe also a little bit bigger 2 or 3 white hotel reception window.
Yeah, they look a little cramped.
Well, I thought the idea was you'd add decorations on the side.
Yeah, but so in Vegas, usually like you would see the entire span would be the bars, and like there'd be like a little opening every like every like 3 tiles, but the bars would span the entire width.
Suppose we could add some fake windows and then the players just place them in between.
Yeah, or we could do
And then it's just custom width and that.
Yeah, you could just do even windows that are the same bars that match.
And then, yeah, so from today we added 2 new columns, a gender-neutral toilet sign, a new hot tub, which got in yesterday. Currently it's only for hotel rooms, so you only see 1 person in it, but once we expand it out, I think up to 3 people can sit in it at a time.
I've
And,
seen it with 3 people in it in dev versions.
And then hopefully some point in the future, but we'll talk about like the roadmap and what we're going to work on next, but hopefully we'll get rooms with multiple people in it at some point, and then that'll help with the hot tubs as well. Oh yeah, we did a new design of the betting window. Donna did a really good job of that. We've got table games, custom colours and like felt designs. And
Ooh.
then yeah, as Arthur
Can I see-
mentioned earlier,
Can we see some red tables? Sorry, I want to
Yeah.
see some of this shit.
I think you guys will like it.
One second, I want to really quickly place down a hot tub.
Hot tub stream.
I
Somebody
I
asked in
don't
the
need a hot tub.
Discord.
Hot tub stream. Yeah. So what is this? What is a hot tub? So I've seen the headlines and I've seen like people losing their promotion and ability. And what is it? It's porn, like live porn.
Well, it's a small little workaround on the TOS, or a small little loophole on the TOS. Technically, you are not allowed to show porn kind of stuff on Twitch. But as long as you've got a bikini and a hot tub, that's fine.
So people were building a following literally based solely off being in a bikini and a hot tub. And like that became a big thing.
Yeah.
Like more than like 2 people?
No, usually just one person per stream.
No, I mean, yeah, but there were other, like more than just one streamer doing this?
Yes.
Oh yeah, there was tons. They now have a category for hot tubs, swimming, and the beach.
I had actually never heard of this. How come you lot know so much about it?
Well, so I keep seeing it in the news, like how they like were flip-flopping it. I thought I heard that YouTube banned somebody or said they couldn't run ads or be in the partner program or something.
I watch a lot of Twitch on the side.
She's like, I plead the
fifth. I don't particularly watch hot tub streams,
but you've seen them before.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
Just gonna make a note for later. Right, final changelog. So a big one. You can now freely place wall objects. So if you click move and then you can press tab to switch between different snapping modes.
Can we see the felt? I want to see felt.
Yeah, 1 second. Michael?
There's so much shit I want to see.
Question on that one. Should the mode not be saved? Because currently if I select the mode, a specific one, and then use another object.
Can be saved, yeah.
At least maybe not in
that's
the
like one line.
maybe not in the player pref, but at least in RAM of the current session.
Same thing. So
I reset it on enable, so if I just remove that line, it'll just work.
Exactly.
I actually saw a similar thing when you were doing quick select on that sofa. When you quick select, it should. I thought it did. Yeah, it should save the. It should default you to that facing, that rotation. You know what I mean?
I'll add it to the list.
It's on the list.
You wanted to see custom feld.
Yeah.
That's on the tables, right?
Yep.
Can you?
Design it all.
Ah, yeah, right. So you've got some presets, and then 3 colors.
Yeah, 4 colors. I mean, you can change the color of the table itself.
So that's a texture swap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't do it with alpha and pass in a.
Well, none of them are set up that way.
Yeah.
In theory, though, right?
Well, it works.
Fair enough. I love it too. So that's on all the games?
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah, that is like such a big thing here. Each casino has their own basically color and even logo and all that on all their felt. And like literally the felt is like so well taken care of. They probably refelt tables like weekly.
We're not going to add felt maintenance as a mechanic.
I don't know. You'd be surprised how many times people knock their drink over. I've seen my wife, personally, I've witnessed my wife knock her drink over on felt at least 6 or 7 times in the past like 5 years. So I would suspect that it happens quite often. I don't think she's just extra clumsy or anything. I think it's pretty damn frequent. Shockingly, it repels liquid quite well.
By the way, another one for the list. We click the designer tool, button on the selectable menu, the designer tool comes open and the selectable menu is closed. But if you just click the same object again or some other object, the designer tool stays open and the selectable menu is open too. So either make it consistent, both open at all time, or both, or make it consistent to close the menu.
And so what was the problem? Was it not open one time or something?
The issue is if you click on a table and click designer tool, the menu closes.
So that should stay open, yeah.
Yeah, either have it open, or because if you click again, the menu comes, or the selectable menu comes open again. So either close the designer tool or just don't close the menu if you click designer tool. I'd say just don't close it because it isn't really big enough
I
to warrant
concur.
a closure.
And then just the last of the change log, and then that's everything. So we got, what I've done is we saw a lot of complaints about when you switch to the second floor, reflections performance get a lot worse. So just to see what people's feedback is, I've set it so that only one floor shows reflections at a time. That does mean multi-story rooms don't have reflections anymore, but it should improve performance a lot. So we'll see what people think. And then new running animation, if we get a crime. Janitors now have a picking up trash animation instead of standing still and looking weird.
That guy's running.
it's also
Awfully
a couple-
funny.
A hacker will now steal a partial amount of cash. So basically lots of players notice that everything on the crime history is 000, because the guards just like interrupt them. So now they'll still like a partial amount if they get like halfway through hacking it, and then you should see some more interesting amounts. Also added a new notification system, so things like when research is complete, loans paid off, if you have a big jackpot win, that obviously triggers like small advertising. Same with big sporting event, notification for, so when an undetected criminal leaves the casino, before you'd never know about it, but now you'll get a notification that there's light left.
What was
And
up
then
with
I
that
think
guy
that's it.
running? That guy that was, well, he was walking, but in a running animation. Is that a criminal?
Yeah. He was running out of the casino.
At the speed of a walk?
Basically, yeah.
Did we have
Good.
to slow that down because of a bug or something? Not sure if
Don't
it was
think so.
since fixed, but
I'm not quite sure. But it definitely seems a little slow running in general.
I think there is some limit to how fast they can move, and also because I think we increase the max game speed as well.
It shouldn't be a problem. I mean, times 2 loop runs fine, and that's with collision. I'm not quite sure, but in worst case, times 3 doesn't use collision anymore.
How that might have been the fix then when you disable them collisions on max speed, so it might work.
Yeah. Well, it may just work at times 2, and like I said, at times 3, the collision is already off. And times 2 should be slow enough that it works just fine.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, yeah, you can turn collision off just for that guy.
Yeah. Currently,
I mean,
collision.
You
collision
can't be in a
check-
run animation going the same speed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, you can see it again.
That one looks kind of fun.
I swear it was never that slow.
I mean, I swear she's like going slower.
About the same speed.
Probably have to
So can you?
figure.
And she just disappears. Why is
By the
that?
way, notification.
Well,
top
we
right.
don't have anywhere for them to run to.
Can they run across the street?
I think we
Okay,
disabled
hang on.
all
Do you
the.
want to volunteer?
Put it on my list. I may as
Sure.
well. We at some point we had agents going down the street, right? Or actually going off to home.
I think so, yeah,
Would we add that?
probably.
Yeah, well, that's what. And same thing with like the buses. We have them. We just translate them.
Yeah, question is just to which point, but wouldn't be a problem.
Hello. Colby Pup on YouTube. Skipping forward, did you add custom colorable carpet colors? We did not yet.
You say yet, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do it or not.
I know
we also. Oh, sorry.
I know we can't. It's possible. It's just a matter of, is it worth doing? It would. We talked about it in chat just the other day. It's like a 20% increase in total VRAM. It'd be cheaper than duplicating carpets.
Kobe also had another question earlier. If there are any plans to add a convention space.
Yeah, it's a good question, especially like it's kind of top of my mind right now with Vegas opening up. Vegas, I went to the store this morning. You don't have to wear a mask anywhere, which is pretty crazy. But like conventions are about to start coming back. I kind of think that there's more, and I'm sort of jumping ahead to the survey, but theaters and like conventions, I think those they almost go hand in hand. I do think we need to do something along those lines, though. Yeah.
Well, shall I go through the feature list and most of the stuff that was requested?
Let me ask a couple.
And then we'll try and figure out what we can prioritize.
Let Donna catch up on questions from.
There's another question that asks, when will arcade machines be available?
I think we're just waiting on the video for that, which I think we're sort of in progress, isn't it?
Yeah. So probably within the next week or so. We have the model ready.
It was actually accidentally added. I had to disable it later.
And then I think this one's probably for Michael. Do you think we should add a wall-mounted version for the Players Club desk?
Yeah, I think I was going to do that and like betting window.
Okay, and betting window. I got all of them. I think another question from Twitch was if we can zoom in on the janitor picking up trash, maybe.
If I can find one, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Let me check Steam. There's nothing on Steam. Okay, your turn.
So the features, because remember, we need to figure out which ones we're going to do before we launch, and then which ones we're going to do like post-release, because there's a lot on the list. There's everything from pools, nightclubs, more stuff for hotels, so things like room service and groups guests, crimes. So I've actually been working a bit on another branch, but I'm not going to reveal what it is yet. More data for analytics, food, so things like additional kiosks and restaurants, business, so that's obviously the convention hall and different events of that. Decor and mod support. I know Josh is going to be working on mod support at some point. That's more security stuff, and then I've got it all written down here. I don't know about custom maps because we've got a problem with roads. I could do it if I broke saves and I restarted on maps, but getting it to work with current maps might be a bit difficult, but we'll have to discuss roads another time. Overhanging buildings we can probably get in, but again, that's just part of the feature list. And then another big one that came up in the survey was chapels and weddings.
I'm not overly keen on those, but
and more VIP stuff.
Honestly, to me, what you see in modern casinos generally is more convention space that they rent out for weddings, and like really any kind of catered event. You don't really see chapels in the hotels anymore. That's not totally. There's a couple of hotels that do have a chapel in them, like a fairly expensive $500 wedding. Kids by Vegas standards, at least. Yeah, conventions may be. So my mindset here is I kind of want to see more theater stuff. I thought that came up a good bit in the survey. I feel like we could probably kind of duplicate that same logic for a basic convention center type thing. The real question is what kind of mechanic makes sense for, what kind of mechanic is actually fun for convention center? Like, like we don't want a negotiation style screen like we did with some airport negotiations. So how should that work? Like, you can bid on, I got some ideas, but it's unclear to me exactly like what that might look like. In real life, there's a lot of aspects to it. It's like you basically, when you want to have a convention, the hotel wants you in there, but so they'll give you like a block rate of rooms and you have to book a minimum number of rooms or what have you. And then that gets you a bunch of foot traffic because everybody knows conferences are a joke. Everybody goes to conference for free booze. So,
I've got an idea, by the way, regarding conferences. Maybe instead, there are some conferences, of course, that where the conference is going to the hotel or space and asking for the space to rent for the conference. But there's also some conferences which are hosted by the space. So maybe instead of going the way of the conference renting your space, you can host some conferences yourself. And it costs you some amount, but it brings in traffic to your casino in total.
Yeah, and I think some simplified mechanic like that is definitely the way to go.
Like just for an example, the German Gamescom, the biggest, I think European at least, gaming convention is hosted by the Köln Messe itself. So by the Cologne conference center.
They actually they own the conference?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. I looked into the conference industry there for a while because I couldn't believe how much conference tickets cost. And like, I was like, where is this $2,000 going for my 2-day pass this conference? And it's quite an interesting industry. It's, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd be up for that. I think that makes a lot of sense, really. It's basically like, you have some kind of sunk cost. You've got to do food and catering or, I mean, kind of room score style thing. And that impacts like what conferences are even interested in, and then you could host them for the foot traffic. Basically dumbing it down enough where you're not going to spend your entire gameplay experience screwing with conferences.
Somebody will want a conference room simulator.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there would be plenty that do. I mean, if it was up to me, it would be an HVAC simulator.
What happened with temperature and electricity from last stream?
Yeah, so we talked about it, and based on the feedback, so is this turning into a hot tub stream?
Yes, it is. That animation looks good, Michael.
I'm gonna say it's your animation. Her head might be in the lamp though.
No, it's fine. She's leaning against it, but not into it.
I think this is we maybe have to recategorize.
Can you pixelate it?
Yeah, at one point pixelating was on the list, I think. We decided we'd just have them shower in their bathing suits. Very wise decision.
And you have them on two random animations for the hot tub, right? Just sitting in the relaxing one.
There was only one, wasn't there?
I think in the video that you shared the other day in the chat, you had it so they're just sitting there.
That was the original sitting animation, yeah.
I think we can randomize it.
I don't know, because that was a bit too stiff, I think. Because that was more for sat on a chair.
Okay.
Since Payline asked if this is the default or edge version, top right, I think you can actually not. Yeah, you can't read it. Fully.
I can see it.
We are currently on default. It's today's update. If you want to check the general top right button, it's actually a button. You can click on it, and it checks if you're on the newest version. And it tells you which version it is, default or Edge. We are generally on it. Generally on default for the stream.
So if I put a 1 next to business convention hall as like a priority, unless there's any other features, I do want to work on crime ASAP just because I feel like that's a bit of a weak spot and it did come up in the survey. So maybe I'll finish off crime because I've got a few things working on that on a branch, but maybe 2 I'll put for business. So like convention halls and that.
So I kind of, in my head, I kind of see conventions as being kind of 2 things. One is like the room scoring aspect of it, similar to like hotel rooms, where basically like the available facilities. I just stole somebody's term, Colby's from YouTube, and then the second part of it though is like what conventions going on, and ideal world in my mind, we could figure out some way to kind of leverage very, very similar logic to performances and potentially beef that stuff up too. Theater was another one that came up in the survey. I see a lot of overlap there in terms of like the sunk costs. It's basically you're investing in foot traffic, you're investing in. So you know what I mean?
So there are costs they're bringing on each like performance, and obviously you have the dressing rooms as well, which cost, and they currently don't have room scores. But I guess for that you could have the higher quality of the show than the higher quality room they're required to get dressed in. I'd say that's probably as far as you can go with theatres because there's already quite a bit there.
Or honestly, just the higher quality performer, the higher the cost is to get the performer, and the more people that are interested in coming.
Yeah, it does cost more to get a higher end performer, because it's based on the popularity of them.
And honestly, it would be basically similar logic for conventions. The only difference is, along with a room score conditional, basically, like a qualifier to even be able to get the convention. So I guess I see it as, and really, I would say theaters are actually really very similar. The best performers probably aren't interested in coming to your 20-seat theater. You know what I mean?
The capacity as well, yeah.
Yeah, like you're probably not going to be able to get David Copperfield to come to your, and even if you do, the reality is that the numbers should be such that it's way too expensive to get him for 20 seats because you're only going to bring in 20 guests.
I mean, I guess that's kind of how it works now, because obviously you have a fixed fee for the performer, so you do want a lot of chairs. But I guess, just taking into account the capacity towards whether or not they'll accept it.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, to conditionalize it, what performers are even available to you.
So I put 1 next to crime, 2 next to conventions, and I'm also going to share that with theatre as 2.
Can I got some object requests just literally off the top of my head, but
okay.
For theater, like I don't know what it's called, but like lighting, you know how like when you're in a performance arena, you see like those big scaffoldings with lights on them, like spotlights and stuff.
Spotlights.
You know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah.
Like that would be a great way to also add like room score, and like that's one that I know, for instance, David Copperfield, he will only perform where there's certain like lighting and stuff available.
If you add speakers as well, that might be a good one to put in with theatres instead of the sound quality.
You said sound quality?
Yeah, so like adding speakers to the.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea as well.
By the way, chat is coming up with a lot of lovely names. We've already got Mr. Elvus and Donny Nickerfield.
Yes, ship the gold. I want Donnie Nickelfield in my casino stat.
Add it on the list.
Yeah, honestly, we should make a thread for performer names on the forum. And yeah.
So are we gonna do polls after launch then, just so that we can basically tell everyone? Because I think that's been a bit up in the air, hasn't it, about whether or not we're gonna do it. I think realistically, it's probably gonna be post launch.
Let's talk about what isn't, and let's. I move to table that discussion, and for
That's why
20
it's in
minutes.
the air.
Does popularity of shows change over time? Asked Daniel Jones. So that's the way it should work. I don't believe it does.
They're just currently randomly generated at the beginning.
Yeah, so the ideal would be that, like, when you hired Donnie Nickelfield, he may be an unknown. He may get popular, and then his popularity should wane over time. So, I mean, that's probably around what going for. Alternatively, totally simplify it and just have Donnie Nickelfield cost a shitload of money and be very, very popular. But to the point where you probably need a really big theater to overcome to make it worthwhile, and to be able to, and a big casino to even be able to extract enough money from all those people at once to make it worth it. Donna messages me and asks, "Who's Donnie Nickelfield?" So Donnie Nickelfield is it's a pseudonym. It's David Copperfield. You know who David Copperfield
okay.
is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay. I felt so stupid. I'm like Googling Donnie Nickelfield. I'm like, who the heck is that?
That is hilarious. I love it.
Oh, we've already got a suggestion for a magician, Fenn and Heller.
That's another very good one.
Which is really funny because Heller in German means brighter.
Brighter?
Yeah.
You've seen Penn and Teller, and that's so misaligned.
I know who those are.
You know who? You've seen David Copperfield too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't get
put
the
two and two together.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why the logic guys are on this side. You're the creative.
Now I was thinking, if we added speakers to the theatre hall, all we'd really need is a DJ booth, and then we've got a nightclub.
Somebody just said add a mixing board. Yeah, a DJ booth or mixing board.
So I may as well put that as number 3. Because that'll just add on, basically. We've already got the bars, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we've got prime number 1, business and theatre joint number 2, nightclub is 3. To be honest, the hotel stuff's kind of small, so I can probably just do that in between updates. Basically, just trying to get things like multiple guests in rooms, room service. But in case it takes longer, I think I'll put that as number 4. And then really back to things like more food types, obviously pools, more decor. So I think once we get starting, is much of an issue, but we're still going to be doing assets as we go along because Donna will be working on that in the background.
Did you answer this one already from Techno Gadget asking about floating floors? Does that mean exterior balconies are now possible? To clarify, I'm asking about non-terrace balconies.
I think today's changelog was including a specific bug. Michael, the one I fixed, right? With the clone tool, you could make floating floors. Yeah, so it's not a feature addition or something. You were just able to clone flooring and place it in the air.
So
Which is
you were
now
able to
fixed.
achieve it. You were able to achieve it, but by
Yes.
virtue of bug.
And I think Chick and Caitlin actually tried around with it and used the bug to make some fancy stuff.
Okay.
I do want to add it. I'm just asking, should we then prioritize that before launch?
So the issue with it is, if you go back up one floor, Joshua, the issue is that here you see the lighting underneath. That there is no indoor lighting happening underneath because that balcony is blocking the light, and we can't. I'm unsure how we could get around that without a second light. Maybe a second light. I guess why wouldn't a second directional light work? Okay, put that on the list. This basically this this shadow bug. Terrace balcony shadow bug. Try second directional light. It might fix it, and then if that does fix it, then doing terrace balconies should be, or non-terrace balconies should be trivial. I think that's the main stopping block. Yeah, Michael?
Well, if it's outside, I don't think it's affected by that anyway. That's only an indoor issue, isn't it? Because outside you'd expect the sun to be blocked. You wouldn't expect the sun to go underneath.
Yes, unless you have 2 levels of it. Yeah.
Oh, we have a question from Katie Cat in the Twitch chat, but I need clarification.
You're right. Sorry. You're right, though, Michael. But it can still be an issue, even outdoors, if you do multiple levels of outdoor terrace.
I mean, they'd have shadows on each other, but that would be expected, wouldn't it, if the sun's above? You wouldn't expect sunlight to be underneath the terrace.
I'm just not sure if you get... I guess, the ambient would keep it lit. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it probably just worked. Okay. Yeah.
It was more just because Sim Airport didn't allow it, and we used just the logic from that just to speed it up.
And also, the Sim Airport, it had to do with rendering and how many thousands of people we were rendering.
I can confirm. I actually tried at some point to allow that, and it's a nightmare. Not just the rendering of people, but also the rendering order of stuff.
Objects.
Like at some point you have the LRT, the light rail train, running on top of everything. Sometimes you have it on below everything. It's really hard to work on.
Yeah,
Turns
if
out-
anything, it's easier in 3D.
Yeah, I just wanted to say. Turns out working in 3D is actually easier than 2D.
So I'll put that as number 4. The reason why I'm numbering these is just because I feel like as we get into the last period of early access, I know what is it, like 6 months or so, or going a bit longer, depending on how things go, but obviously it's good to think of start building up like a roadmap of what we can expect and try and like solidify what we're going to work on for the last few months.
That artwork is way too bright.
I don't think there's any emission on it. There shouldn't be.
Isn't it too bright? It looks like it's
By the way, random question in between. Can we scale objects?
Nah.
it's not totally true.
Well, you can't now.
It's
Maybe we can
No.
add 2 versions, one large and one small.
Well, yeah, that's the easy way.
yeah, so instancing you can, but you either have to use a buffer to pass that data to the GPU and then do the matrix transform on the GPU for each, or you have to instance all of the different transforms separately.
That's the technical way of saying it's complicated.
Yeah, it's not an easy answer. Doing it the right way, which would be passing in the data with buffer to the GPU, would be quite a bit of work. Yeah, and there'd be logic on the CPU side that would suck too, like having to figure out footprints and shit. So no, we can't scale objects. Final answer.
We'll just make a small and large version. How about that?
Yep.
Yeah, if you-
Uh,
would be really great to have a smaller version of the arrow that is maybe just one cell wide.
Yeah.
Yeah. Katie Cat asked, how about adding personal research like CEO marketing? Sorry,
Yeah, so
I
we
need
have-
clarification reading her text.
I think what she's asking is having a similar system to some airport where specific agents research specific objects or specific research items.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know if it would suit this game very well. It might make research a bit too complicated. As well, there's not that much to research in this game. And I don't know if it suits it being too restrictive.
Yeah, so I could see a staff break room, but we talked about needs last time on this stream. We're definitely not going to do staff needs. I don't think it jives with the game. I really don't like it in general. Even in Prison Architect, I turned it off. I thought it was added too much X factor and wasn't the fishbowl experience I wanted. I could see a break room though where it's much more like straightforward, where they take X breaks per Y time. I also, though, I'm not a huge fan, and same with research. I think we should have more research stuff. More stuff should probably be locked.
Tier 1, and then once you research that, you have a tier 2 for that.
So that it's not a free-for-all.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Right now, I think it's a little bit too unstructured, and I think a lot of people prefer to have more structure. I'm not a favor of. The truth is, like, the executive aspect generally was put into Sim Airport. It was basically a money sink, because what was happening was essentially like hyperinflation, like localized hyperinflation, where you would get to this point that everything was super affordable. So we had to have the executives as basically a way to even the economy out and keep it at an equilibrium, or attempt to, and to do so without screwing over initial gameplay players. Here, I don't think it's necessary. I think the economy is set up in a way that largely just doesn't require it. If anything, I think that adding more money sinks to things like theater, convention, that type of stuff, I think is really more beneficial than tying research to specific types of agents or anything.
I think we're caught up on all the questions.
Sweet. Okay, so where are we at, Michael?
So yeah, number 1, crime. 2, business and theatre. 3 is nightclub. 4 is overhanging buildings. 5 I've put as food. And I think, at least on my list, that's it until like the end, because I've got to fit in bug fixes and other stuff. Obviously, Josh is going to be working on mod support.
By the way,
Working on...
Modding is definitely going to be before early access ends.
Yeah.
Break rooms could regenerate energy. Yeah, I really don't want to do energy or needs with staff, honestly. It's too... This is more of a management game, but it's just too micro.
Yeah, it could maybe help with security guards having health, so they'd regenerate
good one.
health.
And also a place for janitors when we're not cleaning anything, and basically like the default standing place instead of in garbage outside.
Same for maybe workmen and cash vault security guards that would stand around in the cash vault. Just have them randomly choose between either the zone they usually work in or the break room.
But the health ones are really good. I think we should add a first aid box if it wasn't done already.
Okay.
And then that'll be a requirement for the staff room.
By the way, when adding the first health box, we may as well add a defibrillator.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
Those guys are installed more and more in like public places, and they are really, really important.
They're
Do we need to have guests having heart attacks?
That means we do need heart attacks.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
We need to add the heart attack burger.
Yeah, you can set the amount of fat in the burger, and it increases the chances.
I mean, I really need one just for the next NFL season. There's a good reason it's called Heart Attack Pack.
If Donnie, what's his name?
Nickelfield.
If Donnie Nickelfield makes you disappear for too long, maybe you have a heart attack.
Somebody loses, and then they have a heart attack.
It's actually here. It is code though. If any venues over a certain size have to have an AED within X distance of every public place.
I know that we're also going to start doing fire exits and smoke alarms, and actually, I won't ask that.
Yeah, don't tempt fate, Michael.
Do you think the janitors should do maintenance on potted plants, such as watering them? It's a question from
there's
Twitch
already
chat.
a lot for them to do, because we can't really speed them up with the cleaning task, and I think I've seen players have to like hire a lot already.
Yeah.
The thought has occurred to me that there probably should be some kind of upkeep cost. Like, otherwise you basically you've got no reason to not. Yeah, I don't know.
I think that would have to apply for every scenery, not just plants, otherwise it just plays like random.
It's a lot of
objects.
maintenance.
Also, if there's plants which are behind the benches, wouldn't be possible because the cleaner won't be able to get to them behind the bench, so each one would have to have like a staff marker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could get pseudo markers for any of them. But I like your agility here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn on it.
I'm trying to keep the list up.
Yeah, no.
I personally don't think we need it because it's a lot of maintenance and job duties for the staff.
An event, Techno Gadget says on YouTube, how about an event when a whale gambler comes to your casino? Have to meet certain requirements to attract whales. Yeah, so I think that's a very good idea. The reality is that the casinos do make a very large portion of their money off a pretty small percentage of the gamblers. If anything, I think that it should come from like the comps side more. Like it should be more like casino host type, almost like sales and marketing, basically. I don't know about event. Sorry, totally random, but the Wheel of Fortune slot game, didn't we fix that to be just like the new cabinet? With screens?
You mean the XGC?
Yeah.
Did you want it to replace Wheel of Fortune or just be a new one?
I thought we fixed Wheel of Fortune. Donna, didn't you do Wheel of Fortune and make it take a video screen up top?
Yeah, I added that as a bug. I don't know if it got fixed, but I think somebody closed the ticket for it.
Is it the same cabinet otherwise?
No, it's two different cabinets.
Okay, so we need a
some
model tweak.
Yeah, it also needs some extra code just to make sure specific. So currently we only have a selection of games for the usual slots, but the usual slots can take the XGC game and the Bison Thrash and the Ring of Fortune game. But with Ring of Fortune and the Bison Thrash having the extra display and the round thingy on top, we just need a second grouping of games. So
a cylinder. Yeah, exactly. So that they can switch between either of those two, and both those cabinets can run it.
By the way, Donna, could you just quickly note to check the animation on the XGC slot again? I will take a look at it, because for some reason it's way too fast now.
Yes.
Last time I checked it was perfectly fine, now it's way too fast.
Okay.
There's also no light on the top. Another note on that is, so there's an alpha channel on, I believe you put an alpha channel on this for static color LED.
Oh, you mean the little pieces on top?
Yeah, so we put in a new mask, a new color in the mask that's specifically for single color that shouldn't be changing, or that should change like very, very slowly, so that it's not like spinning around in circles and shit, but it's like a constant color. It just needs added to that shader, I believe.
By the way, Battery H on Twitch wrote, we need to have a sprinkler system in construction trailer, because it was a 3-trailer wide BLDG, whatever that means.
Building?
Yeah, building, right. The only thing I can say to that is, I think I need a sprinkler. It's way too hot.
That casino's coming along nicely.
That's a good idea. One thing I thought of this morning, would it be possible for someone winning a jackpot to increase the gambling confidence of people in the area? It's a pretty good idea.
I think it actually does it already.
And it increases the number of gamblers who want to visit your casino temporarily as like a marketing boost, but it doesn't increase local confidence.
Oh, okay. By the way, another one for the possible list of helpful things to add. Maybe currently we only have one wall down mode. If possible, maybe a second wall down mode which also hides ceiling stuff and wall mounted stuff. So currently it's really hard to look through the lights that are mounted on the ceiling.
It's a shame we can't just make them transparent, but I think that would require a different shader.
You said to hide ceiling objects and what was the second one?
Wall mounted stuff.
And you got the winning jackpot increase in the area. It's a very good one. In real life, that it does happen. I was reading up on the sound, some studies on audio, and how they broadcast the win noise or audio much more broadly than they broadcast the losing noises. It's quite interesting how much study has gone into directional audio for the stuff. There's even some of the brand new games even attempt to estimate exact ear position and use like tons of mini speakers to try to broadcast the lose sound directly at the ears so no one else hears it.
There's a staff member working at nothing.
Yeah, I'm currently making a save for it.
Yeah, forget features. I might be working on bugs for 6 months.
I've only seen a couple, honestly. Ava on Steam. Just a quick question. Are the loot boxes confirmed for SimCasino on the roadmap? There's going to be so many loot boxes. I don't even know how to count.
No, we never did Hot Tub DLC. For $60.
Yeah, $60.
We already put it in.
DLC. Then we really... Hey, if that sells well, then we really will do a hot tub stream.
Just was about to say, maybe the hot tub DLC isn't a hot tub in the game. Maybe it's us streaming from a hot tub.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would have to buy a hot tub though.
Well, we'd need 4, wouldn't we? And then
Yeah.
live stream it.
Or we just
Exactly.
all meet up in Las Vegas.
In Vegas, or we could go to that place in Michigan I've always talked about with the bowling alley in the basement. Sweet.
I don't have enough brain bleach to get the visual out of my head. I'm gonna let you know of a lovely little thing. It's not really a disability, but a difference in me at least. Take a look at the term of aphantasia. A lovely little thing I've got. Basically means I don't have any pictures in my head. Which also means I cannot visually think about seeing us in a hot tub stream. So, guess we'll have to do it to see it.
I don't know. What about a generic poker table with different selectable games like 7-card set Omaha? So we do have a generic poker table. I believe it always is. The animations always play out as Hold'em. The way it's set up, though, like, even though the animations play out like that, it basically is simulating any other poker table played game. We call it, what the hell's it called in the code? Player dependent. Something. Basically, though, it's a game where you're not playing against the house. You're playing against the other people. The house is just taking a rake. So, I mean, we're probably not going to add additional animations for it, but it essentially does simulate that. The reality is most of those games, they rake about the same. It's not totally true, but it's true enough for the game.
Thoughts on adding a poker tournament event?
It's been discussed. I'm currently working out what's doable.
Yeah, I'm not sure how. How would run that? In my mind, the biggest thing missing from poker in the game right now is that most of the time poker rooms are set aside from everything else. I like almost always, like generally, can't smoke in a poker room. And there's usually a poker desk where you go up, you ask to be put on the list for whatever game you want to play, and then they call your name in the next hour or two, or if there's immediate seating, they take you to your table.
Imagine if you get them to say, we'll put you on the list, and then you never hear back.
Oh, it's
It's on
happened.
the list.
It happens. The other thing that happens a lot, like people will know they're going to the casino, they want to play poker in like 2 hours, so they'll call in, and casinos have stopped letting you do this, but for a long time you could just give your initials, and so you would call in like 5 times in a row, like you'd wait like 5 minutes between each with different set of initials, so that when you got there, you're pretty sure that you're going to get one of your initials called. I'm guilty of doing that at least once.
By the way, another bug for the list. You can quick select objects if floor down.
Wow.
I'm not sure if that's going to be an easy fix.
I mean, I'm already looking at the whole selection system and probably gonna fix
True.
fix the.
If it's on your list, then
zone.
yeah, definitely
Yeah.
possible. Yeah.
I will take a look.
It shouldn't actually be that hard. It should just be running the same logic against the floor below.
It's
mean,
only possible if it's on my list. If it's not on my list, then yeah, too.
I think it's already doing mass gravity or checking. I mean, it's checking the cell. Like I can select the marble floor underneath.
The problem
it.
is it needs a raycast itself or like our version of it.
Ah, indeed. Still shouldn't be the biggest of issues.
No, it should be pretty straightforward. We already have the stuff to be able to raycast up on the floor above, so basically raycast if it's not hitting anything below or on that floor, then you can see the below.
You'd have to raycast the floor above as well, not just the
Yeah.
objects up there.
Well, that's what it does right now, and then it's probably falling back to mouse. Or mouse grab. It's probably falling back to mouse grab. We're going to get nothing. So instead, when it fails to raycast anything up there, it should check if it's 2-story and go down 1 and then raycast. I think Josh is 3 steps ahead of us.
Maybe. I don't know.
I suspect.
Scott Miller had a great question. Would it be possible to add another marketing package, social media? And I'm just questioning, why don't we have it already? And if not, why don't we have it? Oh yeah, indeed, we don't have social media.
I will get that added. Oh yeah, Donald's got our list. I'm making my own
Yeah.
list as well. Yeah. So for the next few months, I've got my list, which is all the stuff I mentioned before. Josh has got multi-slips improvements, Jackpot, so that's things like linked machines and that. Then mod support, and then probably time to do another feature before launch. And then obviously depending on what Arthur has time to do, depending on what other features we can get in. But I think we can fit in one more feature for Joshua before launch. I mean, obviously we'll still do updates after launch, right? Isn't the end of it. It's just a case of which ones we prioritize for like version 1.
The betting screen is showing poker. Thought I fixed that 30 times.
Yeah, I've taken a look at it, but I couldn't get it fixed. I thought I broke it. I don't think I actually broke it.
I swear I've fixed it so many times. Such simple logic. I don't know how it could be. But yeah, for the list.
I think you actually still have an issue for it open. Maybe not. Well, yeah, just note it, please, Donna. I will take a look at if the issue is still open. If not, I will.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I was
Just
responding to
check the big TV screen animations. Currently, it's always the same, and always poker.
Okay.
It's selecting the right game, It's selecting a different.
The right shader.
Yes, the right shader and the right channel, and it's selecting different channels, but it's still showing the poker
Like
all the time.
The buffer. I
Fair
think,
enough,
like-
sometimes they can show the horse
Yeah.
race. It just seems random when it does or doesn't.
It may be a floating point issue even.
It's possible I broke it, but at least in my testing, I think I didn't break it. Arthur, you remember I changed the
Yeah.
screen video for the slot machines.
Yeah. I
as
gave you
far-
the rundown and you were shocked at how simple
Yeah,
it was to pass
and
the
as-
data. That's why I'm like, it drives me nuts because it's super simple. Why the hell is it still broken?
By the way, there's a bunch of chat on Twitch going on. Love you guys. Happy to have you all here. I think one bigger interesting one is Airspeed Live just wrote, I would love a hotel DLC, like fleshed out, almost like standalone game. Which is really interesting as a DLC, and we've got a perfect person to help us out for that, which is Alo. He's working in the hotel business, so probably got some good ideas or good people on hand for that.
Yeah, as far as doing, I'm not sure. Hotels, I'd love to explore it more. I think there's like tons of complexity. I've watched like Hotel Impossible and all those type of, like I love business in general. So like, I feel like can make a game about damn near any business that has sufficient complexity, and hotel has like substantial complexity. I also, though, I think that value proposition wise, I think you get a good helping of it in SimCasino currently without it being too much, and for a great price. So it's hard to say. I mean, maybe down the line, it's just really kind of comes down to what the consensus is on feedback, but I wouldn't want to promise it right now.
Just a random throw in, by the way. That'd be a really interesting way to make DLCs. Basically have one type of DLC that maybe brings a new city or something like that, and one type that deepens systems. Because let's say we make a hotel DLC, which just makes hotels more, makes the hotel system deeper, way deeper, more like a hotel simulator. You don't have to get that DLC. You can make hotels without having the DLC, but if you want to make hotels to a brutally high detailed level, you could.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll add one item to it, the ice machine. That'll be the brutal death. And it'll be $20 for an ice machine.
What? Should be free.
Don't say that about everything.
By the way, Alo just wrote, I was zoning out, but I'm happy to help in any way. So
I guess
it's
an interesting idea, though, Josh.
I guess if you just to finish up that point, I guess if you have any questions about hotels, we can always ask Alo. Sorry.
I want to do a quick shout out for my friend Emily, who's watching and making fun of me on Discord. Her birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Emily.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy early birthday.
Thanks, guys.
By the way, please, if you want to make fun of anyone, please do it in public. We want to see it too.
Yeah. No reason not. Call her out right out on YouTube.
Yeah. We want to see it too.
It's recorded.
It's a good thing I don't have any friends.
Oh.
Not yet, but now you have a house. Now you're about to start having parties.
No, you just need to get out. Oh wait.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys should have vaccines soon. Jeez. The Garrett Moody on Twitch. Arthur mentioned in the last stream about building a utility system. Is that still in the works? That's a very good question. So it's not. We talked about it. We kind of watched reviews, and the truth is that, again, if it was up to me, probably simulate HVAC systems and pool chlorine down to a scientific level, infiltration and all that. And honestly, I think that it's a little misguided. There are plenty of us that would be into it. I think there are also, though, not enough that it doesn't have enough broad market appeal to warrant the time sink versus other things. That's just kind of the unfortunate reality, but it's the truth. Yeah, Katie Cat. 3000 on Twitch mentions there's also like 3 or 4 Hotel Tycoon sim games in the works. Yeah, there's at least 2. I think that there's 2.
There's Hotel Magnet. There's this one that ends in business, I think, and has these like cute teddy bears in it. There's City Block Builder, which apparently has casinos and hotels, but all that's shown so far is park benches. And then
that's his favorite game.
I'm sure there's another one. Grand Casino Tycoon, which I think bombed at release.
I think they're up to mixed reviews. It's a puzzle. Yeah, I don't. It's a different type of game. They misnamed the game probably. There's also some older games, some really good older hotel games.
Hotel Giant.
There's even a Trump one.
Real quick issue. Donna, can you note, please?
Okay.
If you have any paint selected or wallpaper selected and then press the button to quick select, the preview is not going away. So I've currently got this preview, which isn't real.
Mm-hmm.
If I do anything, it's gone.
Okay.
Lovely.
How is every paint bug not fixed yet? It's been a hard forever.
It's unbelievable that there's still paint bugs.
Well, it's not a paint bug. It's more like a quick select bug. I guess it just doesn't close the tool correctly.
Yeah, it doesn't exit the tool, so it never runs the update. Interestingly, yeah, like we ended up with that ambient bug like 3 weeks ago that, I mean, apparently has been in the entire freaking time.
Which one?
And where you got to calculate the normals after you calculate the tangents.
Yeah, that one.
Something ridiculous like that like has apparently been in there since release. And I mean, literally, I mean, what a mind boggler that kind of thing is.
You always say about that when you finally fix a bug and you're just like, how did it ever work?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like, and I was sometimes able to reproduce it in 1 drag. Other times it would take 30 drags. I mean, honestly, the most bewildering bug I've ever seen, especially something like that, where like the system is very low level. We made it, and it's not. There's not Unity magic going on. It's like, yeah, even now I'm still angry at that one.
Do you want to go through the survey, or are we pretty much spoken about most of it?
Honestly, it's up to you. I'm still trying to read.
I'm just going to take a quick scan of it. Before I ask Joshua to go through them, are there any you don't want to be shown, Arthur?
No. You know how I am. I say bear it all. There is a Kitty Cat asked, can we see things like half glass walls, spiral staircase, and mini malls? Not malls. So I saw this asked earlier. Retail in general, and more like stores and more restaurants and stuff. I think that I don't know if we are in total agreement, Michael, but my mindset has been it's really freaking difficult to simulate like restaurants and really even retail in a way that makes for a good game mechanic, because movement time, because of like the scaling of time, it takes too long for them to like for a table to turn over. In real life, you figure you turn a table over once an hour or something. In game, if you want to have any actual interaction, like a server bringing food or something, you're probably turning a table over at best every like 3 or 4 hours of game time. And so like you end up with this really long chain of events that has to go correctly, and it frankly just isn't that fun. There's not a whole lot of like dynamic stuff happening. It's just like a scripted thing. That's kind of why we have steered away from doing too much of that kind of thing. So we're probably not going to see malls.
I was thinking maybe malls could be post-launch, like just some retail or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. My issue
The shops were in Sim Airport. I thought they worked quite well there. I think the logic is still there, actually, for the shelves and for the zones. They're just disabled.
Yeah, I don't think it works poorly. I just think that it's yeah, the movement, the time scaling is brutal. I do think it makes more sense in this. It could be a better mechanic in SimCasino because it could be a draw, similar to theater, similar to conference. But yeah, I don't know. Some of those things, like, they sound great. Like, I wish you could see them, and then in reality, I feel like they just don't play that good. Even to me now, Sim Airport retail is the best it's ever been. It's still not very, like, not super fun to me. The retail part, specifically. Airspeed Live asks, do casinos have shops in real life in Vegas? Yeah, so if you Google, like, the Forum shops, that's in Caesars, and there's, like, one section of that mall where you need an appointment to get into any of the stores. And I'm, like, not joking. It requires an appointment. And then there's another section of that mall where it doesn't require an appointment, but if I walked in there, they would be like, they'd all go hide or something because I couldn't afford their smallest trinket. I mean, literally, like Hermé, like, where you can get like a mini clutch for like $4,000 or something.
They also don't want you like touching anything.
Yeah, it's like I walked into one of those places with my wife's little brother. He's like just wanted to go in, and I like felt the most awkward I've ever felt. Like, yeah, sorry, I'm not like looking at your guys' purses wrong. I promise. Definitely not touching.
To finish up that question,
yeah,
specifically half walls was not answered, and I also would love to see, like, I think in half walls most people just mean the fences basically, and then some glass fences and some, like, half walls fence. So you could basically make a fence that looks like a wall, and then actually paint it.
Will that work?
So we could definitely do glass fences and just more fence types. That's the easy bit. Half walls.
Well, we just do it. It's the same thing as a fence.
Well, not for painting.
Because
fences are models, whereas walls are generated. So you could probably do it, but it's going to be a lot more work than just adding more fence types. I think I'd rather just add more fence types.
Yeah, I think that's really what going for there is basically another fence type that is.
So one that's like fully opaque, and then another that's like a glass fence.
That's glass, yeah. I think both are good. The only thing, they are models, individual models. Okay, so glass will work. Generated. Or they're not instanced.
I mean, half walls.
Well, they're instanced, but they're not like generated like walls there.
The instancing, may or may not work with transparency then.
Did you add in the fence with the wall bug from yesterday that we talked about into this update?
Well, because remember, the fences needed separating, didn't they? Because there's no way to detach them. I think it works for the gold one and the other one, but not for the wooden fence. So all fences would have to have, like, basically the ends of them cut off, sort of thing. Basically, they go through the wall sometimes.
I don't know. I trust you guys know what the hell you're talking about.
I mean, there's no bug, Arthur. Not everything's working fine.
Just don't question it.
Don't
Airspeed
say yes,
drive.
otherwise I double your list.
Yeah, exactly. Top hat, open the door at Riff Raff. Yeah, and $12,000 handbag. That's exactly. There's like diamond stores too, like Cartier. Like
We should have a jewelry shop.
Are we trying to add stuff here?
DLC.
DLC?
Yeah, just do
Big
everything as a
Big
DLC.
diamonds.
Charge $4,000 for it.
Yeah, exactly. Hermes level gold and silver store. Yeah, no. Yeah, I was gonna say, like pawn shops. I love.
Yeah, we do like a cheap one for like $2, like a really low budget store, and then next to it like a $4,000 DLC one.
With like straight diamonds.
I've got a couple of questions I'd like to go through.
Yeah.
So first off, on Twitch, King Kibai, hope that's correctly pronounced. Is there going to be a system where you own multiple casinos to build up and manage, or is just up the one you start with? That's already a thing. You can already own multiple casinos, currently in one big town. I don't think it's researched yet. No, it isn't. I guess we can show you at the end of the stream. I will go into one test save and show you. You can actually have a bunch of casinos. And we are looking at some ways to add more settlements, but no definite plans on that as of
It's
right now.
mostly roads that are the problem.
Yeah. To continue on that thought, perfect transition, General Decker on YouTube asked cruise ships, and to that I say I actually thought about it. If we get to add modded settlements, I will, as the first modded settlement, I will do a cruise ship, which is basically a settlement where the cruise ship is just in the port, and you have the whole cruise ship built.
I think the road thing is solvable, frankly. I mean, basically, we kind of did solve it when we built this map. I created that road tool that it only works in the editor, but essentially the same type of, you could basically copy and paste that code in and add some UI around it to set up roads and do in-game road editing. I mean, you
don't know
almost
if
would.
it's practical though, because I know it needs a lot of editing, and I've struggled even to use the editor one to get back to like work and save properly, so I've ended up not fixing road nodes over it.
Yeah, I mean, the reality, it would definitely need more polish. I was able to get it. Well, the alternative was to define them all manually, which would have been
Worse.
yeah. The truth is, if we were to do modded settlements, you're going to need some kind of in-game editor to define the plot areas anyway. That's the real question: is do we allow modded settlements? And I'm not sure. Also, along those lines, is we've backburnered this a number of times, but when you sell your casino, the plot, you don't actually see it on the plot.
Not only if you sell it, also if you just go to a second casino.
Right. Yeah. We got to figure out something. We got to figure out some way to combat
By the way,
that.
on that point, I actually tried around. It's a couple of months old now, but I actually tried around with some way to save meshes with Unity. I'm not quite sure 100% if I was able to save them and load them outside of the resources folder. But if we can do that, we could create, on exiting the casino, we could create a mesh which is representing the casino. It doesn't have to be the highest of detail level. Save it and then just use that.
Yeah, that is definitely the way to go. The question is, can you include and exclude accurately enough to get what you need? Because you're in reality, there's not one mesh. There's this casino, for instance, you're talking about 100,000 meshes, and
I
there's
mean,
probably
I'm gonna be honest. If you just have the rough outline,
right.
that's already more than having nothing.
That's 2,000 meshes right there.
Just the walls.
Yeah.
When you save it as a mesh, would it basically merge them together so it's rendered in one draw call?
I would expect that, yeah. I would make one mesh and use that. Or at least just one mesh for the walls, and then maybe one for the roof.
Okay, so here, I mean, what you're saying is the ideal for sure. The issue is you can only get 12 materials per mesh. So you can only have 12 sub-meshes, meaning if you wanted to do that, you could, but you're going to end up with everything sharing one of 12 materials. It may still be the best way to go about it. I don't know. Like in this case, for instance, then what do you do with windows? Do you save, like, you just
might just
make
be
those
worth
walls?
excluding them.
Yeah,
Just make walls. Yeah, maybe. If you're gonna do that, it may be just as easy to record like basically a block level texture 3D of a point filtered texture 3D of is indoors or not, and just use that to draw. You could even render that probably on a GPU.
Also sounds like an option.
Honestly, what I would not mind looking into would be, and this sounds to you guys may sound comical, but we've talked about, it's been a year or so, but about imposters and like LODs. There are a couple of types of imposters, like tetrahedral imposters, where basically they're created by taking screenshots from like 12 different angles around, and then at moderate distance, you end up with a pretty good looking, you basically render screen facing quads instead of the model. It looks surprisingly good. It would be one way to maybe achieve it too, would be you could take 12 screenshots essentially, and as long as you don't get up too tight, it would look fairly good.
SimCasino, the SAS update.
What's that?
SimCasino, the SAS update.
The
I don't
sus
think
update?
I don't think you're in the meta. SAS is the short term for suspicious, and it's
Suspicious.
become really, really, really popular since Among Us has been popular. In Among Us, you say someone is sus, so someone is suspicious to be the imposter. In this case, the casino is sus.
Gotcha. Yeah, see, I'm up and up on the cultural stuff of 2 and 3 year olds. So like, I know who Stacy is. Stacy is very popular. I know like all the characters from Paw Patrol. I know like more children's things than. Have you ever heard of Blippi? Blippi's very popular, and he does super cool things. Peppa the Pig, absolutely. And
So
if you're
thanks
gonna
for
talk
watching
about
the
Peppa,
stream, everyone.
how about George? You can't include Peppa without George.
Oh yeah, by the way, guys, let's get back on track. We wanted to show the survey.
Oh, one more. Kobe Pop Gaming asks if you want to add in a one-way glass.
One-way glass.
So
Do you mean
one-way
like a
glass.
two-way? Or one way,
Is it
right?
like an interrogation room?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't...
Yes.
Or is that for security?
Yeah, it is more common than you might think. Like a lot of the offices, I see this in airports too, more frequently here lately.
In the
but
bathrooms?
yeah, not in the bathrooms. This is not a horror movie. This is a respectable casino.
No, the casino is sus. We just talked about it.
Yeah, I see them all the time. I think like they let executives like have a look over the like as like a office perk. It's hard enough to do transparency, to do Sometimes working transparency, F that.
It's-
Actually, don't you
Takes up
just have...
GPU, right?
Because when anything is rendered, it's only one-sided anyway, isn't it? So on one side you have a pig, another side you have transparency. If as long as the camera's on this side,
So you just
It's-
don't have a mesh on one side.
It's
Or
sort of true.
Or the mesh is
it
just
gets-
inverted.
I will let you try it with the shader and see how
it's
it
impossible.
It's certainly possible. It's also probably not going to work out of the box because of
It depends whose list it ends on.
yeah, this is true too.
Shall we look through the survey?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
go for the
pull it up.
survey.
So yeah, skip the main one, which is just all the data, and go straight to like the graphs.
Hey, let me go back to the normal non-studio mode. Studio mode off.
Is everything gonna break?
No, everything working fine. Which one do you want to see? Just give me the name and then I'm opening it up.
So I was just gonna start from beginning because there's, I mean, well, the first one there's not too much to go through. It's
You're
just
not going to
So-
do it alphabetically?
So starting with experience with Tycoon games, right?
Which starts at the
yeah.
beginning.
Here you go. You cannot see us now, but you got the lovely survey results.
See, I don't know how clear the text is, but basically, this was just a quick one, just so we could see whether people are more into casual or challenging. But it looks like most people play casual and challenging Tycoon games. If you look at Sim Airport, just ask a few questions about how many people have played Sim Airport. About half have played Sim Airport, and actually quite a lot of people wanted an expansion pack. I think looking at the comments, the most common one was like a cargo DLC. I think that came up a lot.
How come? Why is it 39% to 19%? The remainder unanswered?
But I haven't uploaded it yet. It's because of the way it adds the total. So it's supposed to only total the people who selected yes for Sim Airport. But on that one, it's counting the actual total, so it includes people who said no. For the first question.
So it's basically, this is exactly 102, but this is of all. So this is just the people that answered Sim Airport, yes to Sim Airport, but this is of all people.
My screen is 68% want an expansion pack and 32% said no.
Yeah, because you reduced the number. And then the remainder did not answer. The remainder is people that did not play Sim Airport or did not answer. Gotcha.
Unless people out there who never played Sim Airport but want a DLC for it anyway.
I'm sure that there are.
Oh yeah, by the way, 69
Color
people
modifier lasts
want
itself.
an 69 people want an expansion pack. Nice.
Yes.
This isn't
I'm immature. It's time for a beer, right?
slide is basically just asking how difficult the game is. I was actually surprised. I thought this was going to be more hard, but apparently most people find it quite medium. And even, I guess the finances, once you work them out, are easy, but I thought people like maybe struggle a bit because there's obviously a lot of like stock management in that. 87% said happy with the difficulty, though we did see quite a lot of people. And where is it? I've lost my notes now.
Frankly, I think this is exactly what we want to see. It may be slightly tilted to the left a little much, but I've been doing this long enough to know that it's really frustrating to read reviews of people that find a game way too hard. I mean, it's very freaking difficult. It's super hard to get difficulty right where it appeals to everybody. I think that this is a pretty good curve. I think if it shifted too much to the right, it would become frustrating, especially in a game with it. It's interesting to see the comments here in a few frames where people are asking or mentioning they don't feel the content that there's a ton of content. Meanwhile, I feel like sometimes there's almost too much. Like there's 1,000 statues alone, like that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's a little bit artificially useful, but I think that it's a balance. I think that slide though is about where we would hope to see it.
And then looking at the scoring graphs, so yeah, customizing is by the way, one is poor and then 5 is like very satisfied or very fun. It was one of those two phrases.
Very yeah.
I mean, yeah, as you scroll down, so managing finances does need some work. I'm probably going to spend most of the next few months just on finances and like stuff related to that. It's quite a difficult thing. And dynamic guests, that's the point. We never added dynamic guests to the list. But I suppose things like nightclubs, and as part of that, I can add things like drunk behaviors.
Yeah, I think that's something we've seen a trend even in commentary here in the last hour about somebody mentioned heists, that kind of thing. We've talked about heart attacks. We've talked about, I guess, there's a line where like scripting out a heist is beyond the realm of what this team is going to have time to do. I think you could make an entire game about that, and I think it'd be fun. Or it could even be a good DLC.
Heist DLC, but you're a first person and you do the heist.
Yeah, well, I mean that's something we've talked about DLC or about first person. Like I want to be able to walk around the casino at some point. I do though. I think some additional like animations / like event type stuff that isn't world ending, that's like fairly that they can go into more often, I think is a very good place to put time. It's something that I look towards other games and I see like 2 Point Hospital is a great example, where they had, that's basically what the entire game is. Next slide.
And then gambling.
Keep going through that one. Yeah.
And gambling's pretty high. We are adding a bunch more stuff for that. I know we've got, electronic blackjack, electronic roulette, a Keno machine, because that was asked a number of times. I don't know if we have any word on old-fashioned slot machines yet, or if we're just focusing on modern ones.
Well, you're reading it inverted, though. Is 5 means... So, most people pretty satisfied with gaming. Versus bingo, much less certainty.
I don't know if there's much more we can do with bingo, but maybe once we get jackpot prizes working better for slot machines, we can sort of apply that to bingo and make it a bit more interesting.
Yeah. It could even some of that same theater style logic of capacity, drawing crowd, may make sense too.
And then theatres and business, we already discussed improvements for them. So quite a lot of like middling scores for theatres and business. Hotels, mostly positive, I think. I think just a case of getting more guests using them and trying to, obviously as we go along, add objects just to enhance hotels a bit more. But I don't think that needs a huge amount of work, at least not pre-launch. Food and drinks, instead of restaurants, I'm thinking maybe we just do like a pizza kiosk and try and do a couple of the like simpler kiosks where we just order food at them and then they sit down somewhere. And then that way we can still have more food variety, because I definitely think we need more variety than just the buffet pre-launch. But maybe not like a whole restaurant, maybe more like, order your food and then you sit down at a table.
Yeah, and also, so the reality is the amount of resources that are required and the amount of bug square footage is so much smaller on a kiosk style setup that it's kind of just a bang for your buck type value, where when we're a small team like this, we got to look for what makes the most sense. What's the intersection of efficiency and and functionality.
The next one's going to sound odd. That was more just the guest needs in general, things like toilets and chairs and just general comfort, really. I probably shouldn't have added that one because it's a bit vague what it actually means, and it's hard to really pinpoint whether you can make it any better, but just chairs and stuff. Vaults and stocks, so that's how you handle resources. That is a bit on the low. There's a lot of like middling and quite a few twos as well. I don't know if that's a lot of confusion to how it works. Maybe that's related to the finance screen and trying to figure out where things are.
That's my guess is. I think that a lot of it is reporting related. I also think that some people maybe they get in over their head with the non-auto, and they don't even realize that they could play the game much more simply. I think the people that probably picked that are happy with this probably are the people that are, my guess, if we check the cohort, people with the highest amount of game time are the most happy with this. People with the lowest amount are, and that is something we should check specifically for this one to see if there's a correlation. If there is, then that probably tells us we should add even just some contextual, like don't click this box or even hide that box until they've played for a few hours.
And possibly add an option to enable it or disable it at
In game.
I'm still not sure about that last one because it might, and not just because with certain things there's a clear research upgrade path. With auto delivery, it's kind of more of a magic spell that everything suddenly appears. I mean, at a click of a button, it suddenly doesn't. It's more of a metagame thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest on that one. It's the same question like we asked about having freedom to place it anywhere. I don't think this question shouldn't be exactly tied into the game 100%. It shouldn't be some things to research. It's just a play style. It's a way to play. Some people want to play like that, some people want to play like that, and we don't really want to.
It's not begging for complexity. What it is it's play style difference. Yeah.
So don't make it an in-game thing. Just make it a style thing. You can set whenever you want.
And like the setting screen, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I'd still do it per save, but yeah, at least have the option in game.
Someone's gonna say it's too easy now. You can disable it at any time.
Well, I'd like to pull the cohort data and look and see. I want to confirm if there is a correlation. If there is a correlation to game time, which I almost guarantee that there is, then yeah, something needs to be done to put it front and center that people can play on what I call an easier mode.
I mean, it could just work the same way how we had the pre-made map toggle, and just do it as simply as that.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to count like number of game hours, because if somebody reinstalls it or whatever, and
no, I'm not. I'm not. I wasn't legitimately saying number of game hour, but some proxy for. I mean, honestly, even a confirmation dialogue that has a "Don't show me this again," or literally just a spoon feeding is kind of what I call it.
And then the next one is security and crime. So this is one I'm going to be working on like first, and I've got a few things planned for it. We won't be doing heists, but I will be working on some other stuff for it. And after that is schedules and patrols.
Aloe mentioned your default was also 4, so that may skew the numbers very slightly. Yeah, so Michael and I talked a little bit about that. The truth is it's really difficult to do surveys and do them correctly. Like, it's really difficult. There's entire academic course loads related to that. So, yeah, it's this is definitely a biased sample. Everybody responding here, for the most part, likes the game, and we definitely have to take that into consideration. Basically, my mindset is always on these surveys, anything positive, reduce how much weight you give it. Anything negative, triple it, because that's what the the sample bias is probably speaking towards.
I think with the schedules and patrols, it's less of a UI problem and more of the way the system works. Because one person had a problem where we wanted to set a shift from midnight till 8 AM, another staff shift from 8 AM till 4 PM, and then another staff shift from 4 PM till midnight. But the system thinks, well, that's just one person 24 hours and simplifies it. But the player thought, well, hang on a minute, I'm trying to get 3 separate staff shifts, but it's certainly giving me 24 hours and that person never goes home. And it's one of those things where unless we were to add, here is Bob, he works X time, here is Keith, he works X time, it's never going to have that intuition that players expect without flashing messages saying, this is not the way it works. And I don't really know what to do about it, to be honest. But I do think that's more of a gameplay system than it is the UI. Because as long as it's a
Says the guy that worked on the UI.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm giving you a hard time. It's honestly, it's a really tough thing to, like, it's not an easy concept.
Architect has a beautiful UI. They just didn't have any staff scheduling, they didn't have any multi-select, they didn't have quite a few things really.
I'm still vouching for the system of RCT 1 and 2. Basically, Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2. You take some staff, tell them to only take care of a specific area, and that's it.
But there's no schedules, is there?
But adding schedule
That's
on top of it
trying
isn't that big of an issue.
Yeah,
Well,
but
no,
the reality is
that's the problem
that's
we
where
have
the
now.
problem is. Yeah, the problem is less about assignment, it's more about the scheduling. How do you manage that complexity? And the truth is that I think that it's very similar to the auto delivery where you got to just balance like it. My guess is if we pulled the cohort on this one too, you're going to see the exact same thing where the younger gameplay time people are going to be correlated to the scores on this. Cats are making an appearance.
You won't be able to see on the stream, I don't think.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we got it.
Little pudding, give a star for sure.
Man, she's already doing the hot tub stream. You need to
we were gonna get back to that somehow, weren't we?
Yeah.
We're doing the hot tub stream.
There's a good suggestion here on
Twitch chat. In time schedules, can we accept all staff changes instead of doing them one by one and reset the rest? And then it was upvoted by Garrett as well.
it makes sense. I can't tell you the UI offhand, but Michael, I'm guessing you know.
That sounds simple, yeah.
Yeah.
Just add a tick at the bottom.
Okay, let's
It was just so that as you're inputting values in like the text box, it doesn't mess up the auto schedule. That was the only reason it was added.
Oh yeah, by the way, I think best suggestion of the day. We should raid Amaranth.
I don't think she would notice.
I don't even know what it is.
She's the top hot tub streamer.
So you guys are pretty into this.
What is going on?
They make so much bank doing that. Oh my gosh.
Are we gonna all
there's no
start that as a
judgment.
new career?
Let me go get my bathing suit on.
Buy a
Okay,
hot tub.
let's get back on track and back to the server.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a beer. I will return shortly. We'll probably wrap up here pretty soon. Well, let's Yeah, let's go through the rest of this. I'm gonna grab a beer. My workers just showed up too. I'm gonna check on them.
So the next one is replayability. Looks pretty decent, I think.
On this one, 4 might be slightly problematic due to the due to it being default, but yeah, you can still see it. 5 and 3s being quite high.
Yeah, because obviously we have the multiple casinos. One thing we discussed in the past was a campaign, but obviously with packs they're spending like I think in the interview they said they spent a year on it. If we're lucky, we might get 1 month, so we don't really want to rush that. We do want to add some sort of missions, not specifically government grants, because that's more for like a prison or an airport, but I don't know, some sort of bonus missions. But yeah, that's possibly one Joshua could do, because I'm still building up the list. I'm fully booked now for 6 months. Joshua, depending on how long it can take, can possibly do. It sounds like you're working on rendering other casinos. We'll see how long that takes. And then after. But
I guess I gotta go learn coding.
I have returned.
Scott from YouTube chat asks, would it be available to allow dumpsters to be used in the indoor garbage zone?
Sounds smelly.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't want a dumpster inside of a home.
yeah, but
I mean,
that said, if you lived in Vegas, you wouldn't want your dumpster sitting in 120-degree heat either.
Yeah.
I mean, we could probably just allow it, but make it a really, really bad impact on the environment.
Yeah.
It already is pretty severe, I think. So, yeah.
Let me see.
Maybe
Environment.
make it worse.
No, it's basically nothing. We need to make it way higher, by the way. The small little plant 6, the hedge way off to the side, is already over. It's enough to not have it go to the sidewalk even.
I can fix that. It'll take me about 7 weeks to do that.
But yeah, just putting that up way higher plus allowing it indoors, why not?
He'll ask me how it's going, and I'll be just sat on the beach like, oh, it's still in progress.
Just sipping a Stella.
And then yes, on the next slate graphs, we've asked a few questions about the tutorials. Obviously, in the actual feedback, we've got all like comments, but basically here it's. What surprised me was how many people said they hadn't realised there were tutorials. Either they're older players who haven't seen it, or they've just missed the massive tutorial button in the main menu.
I think that it's something that we should take action on. I think that should make it even more obvious and possibly like again a confirmation, like if somebody goes direct into a new game and they don't have a player pref set that they've ever played before, literally pop a box. Are you freaking sure? Because here's tutorials, a bigger button. But truly, because otherwise you only get one first impression. If you're annoyed, I've done it before. I've played, there's a game, Big Pharma I played. I think you, Michael, told me you enjoyed it. Maybe it was you, Joshua.
No,
I forget.
It, yeah.
I opened it. It has great reviews. I didn't know what the hell was going on, and I spent 30 minutes flustered and closed out. And I don't think that they had a tutorial at the time, or if they did, I missed it. So I mean, same type thing.
Was that a farming simulator? What was it?
It was
Big Pharma.
Pharma.
It was a
stuff.
hospital game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pharma.
Pharma, not Farmer.
Yeah.
It was more like I want to say it was like a dumbed down Factorio style, like it was more puzzle.
I think it came up before then, possibly.
Yeah, maybe. I think it did. It's fairly It is fairly old, I think.
Airspeed Alive just asked what's the tutorial. Is that a piece of paper that they give you with a flat backward wardrobe that I never read. I think it's like the instructions in like electronics you get. The stuff you just throw away and never use. Who reads instructions?
Can't stand instructions. That said, I put together a playground for my kids like 2 months ago. It was literally, the instructions were this thick. It had 12 sections. Each section was like 40 pages. And we had to follow every single one because it was non-intuitive. I wish they had videos.
We just got words on garbage dumpsters indoors from Elo. They are commonly in ground floor rooms / basement.
Do you put them next to the economy rooms and have a little sign saying, "Do you want to upgrade?"
It's actually funny. Yeah, I think they're usually like in loading docks, like around loading docks at least.
Anyway, next point on the survey.
So for the tutorials, it was just to say that we did get quite a bit of feedback about things like adjusting slot machine and table game settings. To be honest, I think I want to rethink our table game odds work, maybe just replace it with a commission like we did with slot machines, just to make it consistent. Just writing that down. And then yeah, the tutorial needs updating for the new slot games. Don't think it needs much. A tutorial on how to set up hotel rooms properly in dressing rooms would be quite useful because we see that pop up a lot. Probably some improved info patrols and scheduling. Apparently the buttons don't highlight. I think I know I programmed a few of them to do, but I'm guessing I must have missed some that don't highlight when it's telling you what buttons to click. There is info and keyboard shortcuts if you hover over the objectives, because otherwise there'd be too much text if it said it all the time. And it does say at the top, hover over each objective, but maybe I missed out some keyboard shortcuts somewhere.
I also, sorry, but part of me wonders here too, how many of the responses on this are non-US native, non-native English, I mean, because that would certainly impact the usefulness of tutorials. I mean, I don't even think we have German fully tutorial translated, do we?
I don't think it's been started.
Looking at you, Josh.
Yeah, put it on my list. Oh, no problem.
What was that, Josh? It's going to take you 3 months to translate it.
Hey, he's about done with school, so he's going to have lots of time. Congrats, by the way. Almost there.
Getting closer.
We're also getting closer to the end of the survey. So the next one is rate the graphics. Also, you'll notice this goes from 1 to 4 instead of 1 to 5. Basically, I removed the middle option for this one, just to let people say whether they're satisfied or not, rather than everyone basically answering like average. But rate the graphics. I'm not too sure what we can do. Obviously, there's things like lighting and animation improvements, but I'm not sure how much further we can take it than that. I feel like the models and stuff look decent.
I mean, this again, I think this is about where you want to see the curve. Like, you're not going to make everybody happy with the graphics. There are people that would have preferred the game to be in 2D. I mean, truly, I've seen reviews saying that. I've seen people saying that on Reddit. You're not going to make everybody happy. I think that for the vast majority of people to be happy with them, not very happy, but, and, you know, that's the second most category there too, is very happy. There's only so much you can do. I do think we could get better oomph out of a lighting shader expert, but I don't think that you would see, I mean, how much more are you going to move from those first 2 columns to the last 2?
I think it's skewed because for people who think it looks like they probably haven't bought it, but I do want to do an updated trailer. That was on the list. Oh
Yeah.
my god, my list is doubled.
Which is normal for streams.
Yeah, isn't that like par for the course?
For how much of this are you volunteering?
Man, it really depends on what how things go over the next like month or so. With yeah, we shall see.
And then the next one is
fingers crossed.
Content. Content overall, like, sort of good, but still a lot of twos. I'm not sure how to feel about this one. I'm guessing my thing is it's probably a lot of people wanting to build very specific scenery, but without mod support, they can't build the specific thing they want to decorate with. Because I doubt it's like systems. I know we want to get in things like more conferences and nightclubs and more food. Hopefully, once those 3 things are added, it should improve along with mod support. But
this is the one that caught me the most off guard, I think. This and the tutorial. I got to read through all. I glanced through the comments. There's a lot of really good feedback in the written stuff. Yeah, it's probably the one that I'm just a little confused about. I mentioned it earlier in the stream. Like, I feel like there's seriously like thousands of statues and stuff. I really, part of me wonders if it's mods. Part of me wonders what exactly content is.
I think people don't want to simulate a casino, but want to simulate the city of Las Vegas. I'll even see suggestions for like monorails, tunnels, building across the street, building pools, building in the ground, building giant like landmarks and theme parks. Somebody suggested, can you add theme parks? That's a whole game.
Yeah, and it almost goes back to Josh's point / idea of, like, you could do a DLC where it's like literally, if you want to do in-depth theme park, it's not the worst idea, especially these days when. So I'm coming around to the idea of, the truth is most games these days are game as a service, where we budget X amount of time to be able to give you guys updates, and that's basically what the vast majority of games are doing these days. Is it's all about like a subscription without a subscription. Some cases it's not a veiled subscription. You literally are paying for your loot boxes or what have you. It's not like, it is actually, it's an interesting idea. It's something I definitely want to think more on. Battery H on Twitch said, we don't have an achievement for finishing the tutorial. We do for some airport. Can we add that to the list, please?
I had a feeling it was added, but apparently not. Unless it was disabled.
Don't trigger it. Maybe we don't trigger it.
Possibly.
I don't know.
Let me check.
I went to look and I don't see it either, because I was like, oh yeah, duh. And yeah, I don't see it.
My Visual Studio would not die, I will tell you.
Anyway, next.
Bugs and issues is fairly, like, mostly on 3, fair bit on 4. Few 2s, I think, because I did ask if you've got a major bug included in the survey if you scored it low, but generally it seems quite good. Obviously, we'll keep working on bugs for the next few months. Sound effects and ambience, that was greatly improved recently.
Yeah,
obviously, I think you also added sorry, go on.
So this was another one that surprised me a little bit, and in the opposite direction. I actually figured that it would be lower. I guess that the only thing I can say or guess would be that the changes I made were that drastically improving. I almost find it hard to believe. I figured this would be low.
Because I know as well you made it so that the slot machine audio was directional as well, and like details like that.
Yeah, and actually there was a bug that was causing a lot of audio to be misplaced. And so that may have been a lot of it too. What was happening when you would place an object, the sound would wherever your mouse was when the object first got created, the sound was going to sit there forever. Or until the game was reloaded. So, like, you basically were getting mud. Like, muddy sound no matter what. Still, it's great. That's something that could be a lot of resources we'd have to spend. So, it's good to see.
The next one is music. I'm surprised this isn't all like max, but I'm guessing one of the feedback was that I think some of the songs might be a bit too energetic. I think an ability to see track listings and disable ones you don't like. I don't think the music's bad. I think some people just don't like certain tracks. And also what I did today was I added a 20-second break between each song just to give a bit of breathing time.
Honestly, I think that'd be a good question to ask of Mr. Martin. Who we should try to get on the next stream. Maybe he got a bunch of merchandise. Should have got there like yesterday or the day before. It'd be super cool to get him on here, even for just a few minutes next time, maybe.
And then the next one is performance. I did the update today with reflections, so it only does one floor at a time, so we'll see how that goes. I do think there needs to be some performance improvements like the AI and stuff, because I know on big maps it can get quite slow. I've seen like 40 milliseconds on coroutines or something like that. So it can get pretty crazy. But overall still pretty high score. Frequency of updates, which is the next one. I'm actually surprised that's not higher, but I think that might have been because with me moving house, there was fewer updates, but it wasn't for that long. I was only away for like 2 weeks. I still got an update out halfway between.
I think that's as good as you're going to expect.
Yeah.
I look at that as it doesn't get better.
I guess I'm maybe thinking about the grain of salt thing, but maybe I'm applying it too much for the positive.
Yeah, the truth is you're not going to make everybody happy. Like, you should expect it to be a bell curve, basically, and all of these. And so I look at that one, and it's a tilted bell. I mean, that's what you want, as long as it's tilting to the right.
Sounds like a new club, tilting bell.
I like it.
And then quality of announcements. I can't remember if I put a description for this, but I basically meant like things like how we release like person that. I think the next question, but it's not in the graph, is basically where do you receive updates from? And I think most people put like Discord and direct from forums.
Yeah, this one's also, it's, I mean, it doesn't get more biased because if they took the survey, that means they saw the announcement. So if you had any ones here, I'd be disappointed in those people.
And then the last three. So if we launch tomorrow, would it be positive or negative? I'm surprised at how many positive, given that that would basically involve abandoning the game. But at least it shows that we're already kind of ahead, and we've still got like 6 months of early access to basically knock out the remaining issues. It might go on longer, but it'll depend on what happens.
I just compare it to where we were with Sim Airport after 6 months. You know, it's like, I mean, it's just night and day. The game worked on day one and was pretty damn good experience even on day one. It's great to see.
Turns out we actually learned something from making the first game.
Yeah, thank goodness.
And then, how much development? Most people put like less than 6 months. Quite a few saying more though, but overall between like 1 to 3 and 4 to 6 months away. I guess that's still a weird question because there weren't how long features take, but it was just a good idea to get people's expectations of how long they expect us to keep developing for. How would you rate the game overall? Nobody put it sucks, so that's good. Apparently 1% put they don't like the game.
To be fair, this one is biased too.
Yeah, of course. It also though is it's a good reality check. I mean, it tells you that, hey, it's not perfect. And I mean, a team like ours, we're probably not going to make perfect games like that satisfy every need and desire. But I mean, it's a decent barometer for where on the spectrum we're shooting. And let's be real, we're not working with $5 million budgets here. Like we're just not. And honestly, I'm glad, because if we were, like, we'd be working 90 hours a week and we'd have 30 people we're trying to get either to pump stuff out or to take them to their grave. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that's the reality.
Then that adds to the list, perfection.
Okay.
Write new code without adding bugs. Last bug incident 0 days ago.
Yeah, we were talking about it, won't we, Josh? Yeah, we've just got to write code that doesn't have bugs in it. It's really simple. I don't know why we have to add bugs. It's a bit of a strange habit we have.
I mean, we came to the conclusion that neither Michael nor I were adding bugs at any point in time.
Not purposefully.
I'll take all the bugs for you guys.
By the way, Colby Pub Gaming on YouTube just wrote, admittedly I saw it, but didn't get to it before today. I think he's talking about the survey. I just wanted to ask you, Michael, if someone didn't answer the survey yet, is it still open?
I mean, we can still browse through it. It's just we probably will do a new one in a few months, right before launch. So it's unlikely we're going to do like another live stream with it, because as well, most of the data will be outdated given how much we change stuff.
Yeah,
so I'll probably close it tonight and then look through maybe early next week to see what was added.
So let's just say, if you really want to have your word in it, answer it now, and we'll still look at it. Yeah. Well, Airspeed Alive, I don't know, or Airspeed Live, just wrote zero, this game sucks. GG, guys.
Yeah, I'm reading through the comments. So as we were going through the survey, I was kind of reading along with it, and I missed a lot. Yeah, that's some good comments.
Are you on the Excel or are you on the website? Because the website's quite good for like looking through the written ones.
No, I'm looking. Sorry, I'm reading, catching back up on Twitch and YouTube.
The website's good for filtering positive and negative and then clicking through and seeing like a better laid out version of the answers. Excel is just a massive nightmare until you like graph it.
Damn, I love this suggestion. A valet service.
We don't even have car parks.
I know, but valet service, it's true, is there's not a single casino that doesn't have it.
But do you want to work on car logic and parking spaces, Arthur?
Well, we kind of solved that problem with in Sim Airport with just the counter, which would work just fine in this game as well.
I think the real issue is connecting it up to the roads.
Do you think?
Yeah, even that's not too. I mean, it's under a week.
Next note, go there.
Yeah, we do hate roads though, and we definitely dislike taxiways.
To be fair, it's the same. So yeah.
Yeah, so I've read through everyone's comments. I'm not going to comment on all of them. But yeah, I get the gist. James, that's helpful. Yeah, some very good feedback. I appreciate
There's
it.
the survey of the comments on the stream.
The comments on the stream. Yeah, battery age. That's what I was kind of thinking. And yeah, I agree as well, Katie, on Twitch. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions? Going on what 2 hours and change here?
Are we going to do a bugs DLC where all the fixes are in a $60 DLC?
Yes.
Just $60?
I think we should put 2,000
$69.
statues in the DLC and release it.
No. If we do a bug fix DLC, it has to be $69.69. Or for $20.69.
If you guys code it, it's going to be full of bugs.
It's a bugs DLC. We
That's
can
the
say
best
it's full
part.
of bugs and fixing bugs at the same time.
What do you think, Donna? You ready to get outside and enjoy that 70-degree weather?
I don't know if it's 70 today. I haven't,
72 is what I'm seeing.
I haven't been outside
60% humid.
for a
but-
week.
What is the
For a week?
outside?
Since Monday, I haven't been outside.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Holy moly. I have a computer out. Really, the computer's inside, but I have the wires run through the wall. And I spend like half my day outside, like anytime I'm taking calls or anything. I try to be outside. It's so
Yeah,
weird
I'm,
you ever outside.
Allergic to the sun. I'm a vampire.
I love it. All right.
Don't forget to shop at our
Yeah.
store.
And we're running.
Yeah,
We're actually running out of
t-shirts.
stuff because we've sent out a bunch to all of us. I think I took all the smalls we had to give to my children. So yeah, if you do want any stuff, jump on it now because there's only basically XL, XX, some larges and mediums, but very few. Yeah, get it. Cool. Anything else, guys?
So officially, we're doing crime, conferences at theatres, nightclubs, hotel improvements, probably overhanging balconies and things, more food, but probably as kiosks, not restaurants. That's my list. I'm also going to have to try and fit in tutorials, like table game mods, possibly a trailer, but I'll talk to Arthur about that. Josh is going to be working on Jackpot's mod support, multi-select, and then
then we
render
got
of the
it.
casinos.
And Donna's got a
Donald.
big ass list too.
Yeah, that'll be basically all the content needed for all those things I've just listed. Yeah, that looks like everything.
Don't forget to write code that doesn't have any bugs.
Yeah, please. Only unisex t-shirts, yeah, but they're honestly they fit great. And to be honest, if you order your size, and for the most part, I've been shipping out one that size and one bigger. So yeah, and if it doesn't fit, we'll send you one that does. We're not making money off of. We're doing it 'cause we love doing this, and yeah. If you're into it, yeah, grab something. If you haven't left us a review yet, now's a very good time. Or you could wait about 1 or 2 weeks. But anytime around then is great. When is the next stream? We will probably stream before the end of this month.
Let's schedule that. Which day?
Also, we
Yeah,
talked
we
about.
can figure it out later on when we know what's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to schedule it later, unfortunately. But it will be before the end of this month.
I'm just gonna show off the world screen since King Hibaji had asked for it at the start of the stream.
And I gotta commend us. We set this date during the last stream, and Joshua and Michael both told me there's That's not gonna happen. That's not. And what? June 4th. Here we are. We gotta poke a little fun.
As you can see, a bunch of plots in this lovely, lovely town of Four Peaks. The waste buildings are not included, by the way. Those are removed once you buy the plot.
You just showing the plots?
Yeah, I just wanted to show that you can actually have several casinos. So you can actually have all of those plots. You can own all plots and build a casino, hotel, whatever you want on all of them. Just make sure you build the right stuff.
I think the finances, the way the transfer between the kids' casinos needs a bit of improving. But other than that, I think it generally works well. Loans might still be an issue there.
Cool. Should we send it off with a bang? Some fireworks?
Yeah.
I love the fireworks.
When you buy a plot.
Thank you everybody for joining us. Hope everybody enjoyed. We'll be back. We should have a stream by the end of the month. Probably another one early next month too. As always, if you need anything, email us, Discord us. You can knock on our doors.
Duh.
We don't even know. I don't even know where Michael lives. So. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Really do appreciate it. I hope you're still enjoying. Thank you for participating in the survey. Yeah, and we'll keep doing what we're doing and try to keep getting good stuff out. Cool. Fireworks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Ahmed.
Goodbye, as always. Like, subscribe, whatever. If you were watching this live, thanks for hanging out. If you watched this on YouTube, thanks for watching. And as always, we'll see you next time. Let's see this firework. Goodbye, everyone.